Hi, this is Clayton. We're coming to here with the Spartamax firearms gun lube cleaner for our military police. It's our bio-based product here. And this gun here, our XD40, has gone through 300 rounds and on a proficiency test, and we're going to take it apart and we're going to show you how we clean it. And this is pretty much for a deep cleaning situation. All right, so here we go. Now, before we begin, come back, bring it up, come through, fire the weapon, comes apart, take out the spring, take out the barrel, and here's the thing. Now, normally what people would do is they would use a brushes on here. Okay, normally they would do is they would use very bad brushes on here. We're going to teach people how to use, they would use brushes. We're going to show you how with a swab. Why? Because at Springfield and other manufacturers, this has got chromoly inside of here, a type of coating. All right, in many components of here. Our job is to save the coatings and to save the barrel bore efficiency along with everything else. But let's get into what we're going to do. First, this product here, all right, has the ability for it to have 4 times the cleaning capability of acetone, and it has the ability to naturally go after the carbon, which we're going to see. So first what we do, it's got very powerful. We wet it a little bit, shake it in here, and we let it sit. Then we go after the spring. We let that sit. Then we will go into the top area where the firing pin is at. We want to get a little bit on the firing pin area and through here on the slides. Now, you don't have to use a lot of product. It says, well, Clayton, it says a gun oil. Yeah, I know it says gun oil, but we got all these mechanisms in here. But you see, this is a solvent and oil. It is a bio-based solvent and aerospace oil and other chemistries, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So some of the cleaning tools that we use are these here, just regular Q-tips. So we're going to get into the slides here. We're going to put this down. Now, the slides are very, very important, okay? And the reason the slides are important of what we're trying to do is we need to get in here, let it soak, and then you can see the carbon coming out. Now, I fully understand how people, okay, they say, no, wait a minute, I thought you only use a little bit of oil in there. Yeah, but on this particular situation, what we did is we allowed it to be wet, okay, so that it would actually provide what was called powder management. Now we're getting into here, and back here is where a lot of the carbon gets into sometimes. So we get down in here, because this is where the bullets come and ramp up, all right? So we get in here, and then we just kind of swab through the handle a little bit. Look at all that coming out. Swab through the handle, get through here. So you can see how, that's getting dirty. Now this was after 300 bullets. Now one of the chemistries that this has, okay, one of the chemistries that this has is a ability to wear into the barrel and become one with the barrel so that it can have the carbons and nitrites to get out and blow out. So you can just see the carbon just dripping out everywhere. I'm trying to get into here for you. We get into these areas and we let it soak. And I'm just going to be using these continually. Now, you're not supposed to take apart the firing pin mechanism. Okay? But we want to move this back over here and kind of clean that out in there. You can see that. Sorry. You're doing very fine. Okay. So let's get through here. Now, one of the important things we do is just kind of pull the cotton end off there. And we want to get into the cracks and crevices here. Here, I'll do it here. I need to do that better for you. Okay. Oh, that's just turning black. Look at all the stuff. See, this carbon here is what prevents proper operation. Now, I'm not using any scrub brushes. I'm using Q-tips. Okay. Now, we also have a lot that is in the firing. Now, what we like to do is kind of leave this wet in here, so when all the contaminants come out the front, look at that. So why are you doing this? Well, let me tell you something. You see, this has about, I'd say about, maybe a dozen mechanisms. They all got to work at the same time. There we go. See, I'm trying to get this for you. So again, and what we're trying to do is get all of those working. Because you know how you make something 5% better? Well, you just find 1% areas. Yeah. Look at all that I got out of there. Okay, now that's doing pretty good. We're kind of done with that. All right. Here's our little brushes we had. Let's get a little back bore into the, one last time into the chassis area. Get all the contaminants out. But you see, this really doesn't have that much contamination in here. Okay, nice and clean. Get that done. Okay. Now, Clayton, you're doing this on a Springfield XP. Yeah, I know, XD, excuse me. But would this apply to any other weapon? Well, yeah, they all have the basic same type components. I know everybody's got their arguments, whether it's a Glock or Taurus or Sig Sauer or, well, we can go right down the list. Kimber, Beretta. On your automatic weapons, whether it's the pin-up here or the 1911 style, they've all got sliding mechanisms, they all got springs, they all got little barrels, and they got to be kept fine. I like to do this here because we like to keep the contamination out. You can see that came out there. And we'll use this here. Just kind of wipe that through. Look at all that came out there. Now what I'm going to do for a first pass through, just to kind of show you what's going to happen on the barrel. This is like a 22, a really small one I use for like a AR-15 type application. And we'll just run this through. And then you can kind of see, actually it's not that bad at all. One of the things that we always do before we begin is try to, just look through the barrel here. And this ain't that bad, but I see some carbon that's still kind of embedded in there. So what we'll do is we'll just clean our little footy brush here. This is out of any kit that you can get, inexpensive. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And we just let it roll. Look how that's getting dirty. See, now you could spend a little extra time on here. I know the ladies will like it because, this product here still has the vitamin E oil in it. See how it starts to pull that out of there? Back and forth. You just got to turn it. See, you got a lot of surface. Now, Clayton, I heard about people having what's called a bore snake. See, what a bore snake is you can run it through, but the problem is it's got all those brushes that stick through it. It starts scraping. In fact, Springfield, and others, Glock and others, they want you to use a plastic through here. So, let's see how this worked. This is why you need a bore light. I think we'll have to do it just one more time through here. Say, Clayton, I thought you had to scrub the stuff out of there. Well, not really. What you have to look at is that the product has a solvency capability to it, so it's able to hold and clean it off. And this is why I like you to spend a little bit of money on a bore cleaner, bore light. Now there you go. It's really clean in there now. I don't know if you can see that, but it is. So we just take our rag, which we had before, to demonstrate how clean it was. We'll get another clean one. Now you can get these are just common bore cloths that you can get at anywhere. Remington, whoever has them, I don't care, you know. Ooh, that's squeaky clean. See? We cleaned it out really well. And then you can just take the rag if you want and clean off the barrel. We're good to go. So basically the tools that we used here with our product was just some Q-tips. You can see the Q-tips. We just used some bore rags, and here we go. And so you can see the contamination that came out, which really isn't that much. I mean, if we had another situation, we would have spent a lot of scrubbing. So that's really good, Clayton. Well, let's put them all back together. All right, well, let's do that. Oh, before I was going to show you, what we have to remember is when we have the upper portion here, you know, the bullet gets ramped in, comes in, explodes, right? Well, it gets hit with a firing pin, and then comes out, and then ramps and comes off. And what we want to do is make sure that this stays kind of wet so that we can have an ease of how it's going to work, okay? So let's do a final wipe down. I like the bigger one here because it does a really fine job, you know. And we need to take, oh, I forgot this. We have to take the Q-tip and get into the area of the firing pin. I forgot to do that. See how that works back and forth? Let's get a little more in there. Look at all the carbon coming off of that. Now, a lot of times, a lot of people, they just kind of forget about that like I almost did. Here, let's kind of get that. Because this is one of the most important areas that we have to keep working and happy. See? Did you see that? And we'll just do one more through on the slides. Now, another thing about this is as follows, is that it's able to continually clean while it's in here. All right, so let's just put her back together and we'll be done. So here we go. I just have a light spray in here. Clayton, but you're not supposed to do that. I know, but in this we can. And I'll tell you why. We want these mechanisms to be wet, okay? The reason for that, and you can see all the carbon, is because it will kind of clean into the mechanisms of the gun, excuse me, of the pistol. Put that back up. Oh, sorry. I had to do that, forgive me. Better bring it back. Lock it. Come forward. And she's ready to go. Have another wipe down on the outside. It's okay to leave a button there. And there you go. Here's the contamination that came in. Here's the tools that we used. Here's a little bore light tool. We're done. So we'll see you in our next video. Bye.